Hello everyone. Today's session is about self-branding CentreStack iOS client. You need to be the cluster admin to do so. So first of all, you need to log into the cluster manager of your CentreStack installation. And after that, you go to the cluster branding section, and then you can go to the iOS client branding. And by the way, you need to do this from a Mac machine because it has dependencies on the Mac, Xcode, and also you need to have iOS developer account. The Mac machine can be 10.9, 10.10, or 10.11. These are all fine. So after you download the transform.zip file, you need to extract that to your local Mac machine here. And the recommendation is you extract that to a folder that's doesn't have any space. So for example, I just name it my transform, all in one word without any of the space inside. So now I'm going to open up a shell script. Shell, it's bash, so that will be where we do the transform from. The Mac machine has a terminal, right? So that's the terminal, and by default it's bash shell. So the first thing I'm going to be looking at is the input dir app store. So these are the input. So there's a common and then file, there's a entitlement file, there's a bunch of artworks, and there's also two folders full of artworks. One is the launch image for different geometries, and then one is the app icon. So there are also some icons on the top level. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do a chmod change mode to +W, so make all the input files editable. Because these are the way it works is it takes the package file, the standard package file, and then it takes the input from the input dir, and for example, we are editing the common.shell file, so it defines a bunch of the IDs to be used. So for example, the bundle ID, that's kind of like a reversed DNS format, com at the beginning and then company at the middle and then the application ID at the end. So there are three different IDs. You just make them the same. Pretty much they're just the same. So once you get a ID, you just change them to the same ID. We're going to get to the ID next. So for now, these are some of the strings in the common.shell file that you could modify and make them your own. So you need to change those IDs to and the website and product name to match what you will give to the app. So now we are going to go into the iOS developer. In order to post anything to the Apple App Store or the enterprise app, you need to have iOS developer account, either for the App Store or for the enterprise. And so the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to create an application ID. So this ID uniquely identifies an app in the App Store. So typically it's recommended to be a reversed DNS name format, like com at the beginning and then the app ID at the end. After that, you also need to create a provisioning profile for the App Store. So for the App Store, so the way the provisioner profile is done is it includes an ID, identify which app, it identifies a certificate, and then that's pretty much it for the provisioning profile. So pretty much this profile is a file you can download to your local computer, and then we're going to be using it later on. So this file, as I understood what it is, it includes the certificate, includes the app ID, so that kind of tells the Apple App Store which app it is and kind of sign it, and so it's kind of harder to fake. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this mobile provision file and then name it embedded .mobile provision file. So in the sample input dir folder, there's a old mobile provision file. You just replace that with the one you have. There's also an entitlement.plist. So entitlement is also closely related to the signing. I'm not completely understand the whole application signing process in the Apple App Store. It's much more complicated compared to like Windows and other platform, but it's the way it is. So there's an entitlement file, there's mobile provision, so you just need to remember that. You need to prepare for those. And after that, the rest are more like mechanical, like you just create your app icon, the biggest one, like 512 by 512, and then you resize it to different resolutions, like 140 by 140, and then replace those app icons in the input folder, and then that's all. So once you prepared all the entries and the items, including the artwork and the mobile provisional file, the common file, the entitlement, now you can transform. You can do the transform directly from the Mac terminal. It's a bash shell, so you don't need to launch any other shell, just the bash shell, that's it. Just launch it and then it's going to run. So what it's doing is it's going to unpack the official iOS client, and then it's going to just replace the artworks and in the bundle, and then at the end of it, it's going to use your own certificate to sign it, right? So there's a step I didn't show here, which is you need to go to your iOS developer account and then download, using the Xcode to generate a certificate request, and then download the certificate to your local machine here. So now we have the let's say we have the bundle, right? So but we need to upload it to Apple App Store. So in order to upload to Apple App Store, we need to log in into the iTunes Connect, right? So there are two things. One is the iOS developer account, which is for you to sign the app, and then there's an iTunes Connect account for you to upload app to the Apple App Store. These two are connected, but they're not the same, so you need both. So we're going to just quickly create an app entry. We're not going to really post this app for review, so we just create an app for the demo purpose here. After the demonstration here, we're going to delete the app. So but for you, if this is your one and only app, then you probably just need to continue to finish the app. So after you create an app entry, you can use application loader. And the application loader kind of comes from the Xcode. I would recommend using Xcode 6, not using Xcode 7, because Xcode, the app was generated using Xcode 6.4. So there may be some default options in the Xcode 7's application loader that may not be compatible. So what I'm going to show you here is going to generate an error because by default the system picked the Xcode 7's application loader. So we'll see what happens there. So now you can browse to the IPA file, right? That's generated, and then it's going to upload and it's going to fail. It says you're not authorized to use this service, and I think it's related to something called a bitcode. So if you're going to use Xcode 7's application loader, you can search on the internet for that thing and turn it off. But there's a much easier way, which is to use the Xcode 6.4. So now we switched over to Xcode 6.4's application loader. You can install Xcode side by side, so that's not going to be a problem. So you can, when you use the Spotlight, you're going to find, and typing application loader, you're going to find two entries. You just pick the one entry from Xcode 6.4. So now you can load the output.ipa, which is the one generated from the transform script. So now you can, as you can see here, it's loading, right? it stays in this dialog much longer than the one from the Xcode 7. The one in Xcode 7 throw out the error right away, but this one is continue to run, and then it's uploading. And so looks this one is working. So just wait for it to finish. So it's sending the binary to iTunes Connect, which is the one for Apple App Store. So the application loader, as you can see here, I used the Xcode 6.41, right? So there I have 2 entries here. So you can pick the one entry that's Xcode 6.4. You can get the Xcode 6.4 from the iOS developer account. So now we're coming back to the iTunes Connect. It's even though the app has been uploaded, it's going to take a while for Apple to process the binary and process the entry and and all those work. So it's going to take a while. So while it's working in the background, I'm going to show you a little bit about the iTunes Connect. So first of all, you have your app entry, and then there's a lot more information you need to fill out. But for now, I just have a few filled out here. For example, you need to upload all these screenshots, different screen size, and all those information you need to fill out. And then you can see here we have a build that's currently in the processing stage. So it's processing, it's not available. The way it works is once it's showing up, you would invite some internal testers to test it. So that's how you test it. So that's how you know that the whether or not your app works. So you can invite a user. Just click on the plus sign and say plus internal testers, and then the user will show up. So typically you would invite internal testers before you invite external testers. So that way you can test the app a little bit more before you submit it to Apple for review. So I saved the testers, and then it's asking me to select an iOS version to test, and because it's still processing, so I need to kind of wait for it. So I probably just wait in the iTunes Connect a little bit longer for it to show up. But if you are doing so, you can go get up and try to grab a cup of coffee and come back, and it should be there momentarily. So just wait for it. And once the app is available, then you can start testing. So the way it works is it's going to invite you or invite the internal tester to test the app through a thing called test flight. The test flight is kind of like an app. Okay, so now it's available. So you're going to just add it. So we don't have to do it here. This is the screen where you want to release the app, but we can always go to the test flight to test the app. So we will see so you can see now the select version to test is available. So you can select the version to test, and then after you select, you can see on the right hand side there's a start testing there, right? So you can click on the start testing, and then the user in the internal tester list will be an email will be sending to them, and so they need to have an email on an iOS device, and they're going to receive the email, and the email is going to have instructions telling them what to do. So pretty much you can go from there. And as you can see from here, that's the how the email look like, and then it looks maybe a little bit different on a mobile device, but that's all. So to review what we've done, first of all, you need to have an iOS developer program, so you can create the application ID, create a certificate, and download the provisioning profile so you can sign the app. After that, you need to have an iTunes Connect, and so that you can upload the the generated app to your account, iTunes Connect account, and after that you need to invite internal testers to test the app, and after you are done, you just submit that to Apple. That's it. So very simple. Thank you.